Hey guys, the day is finally here. The NFL starts today. Shame it's the Chiefs and Pats, but what can you do? What up, Everett? Um, so yeah, a lot of things happened in the offseason. We'll talk a little Matt Stafford contract. That happened recently. 5 years, $135 million. This is like Joe Flacco contract all over again, isn't it? That's the first thing that popped in my head. Like, oh. All right, so here's the deal. Here's the bottom line. I've told people this. Is he worth 5 years, $135 million? The answer is hell no. But let's look at what other options they had. Oh, there you go. Now that we've done that, that's the problem. Is do you start completely over from scratch? Because it isn't like they have someone on the roster that can do it. So, what are you going to do? They're in Detroit. People aren't going to exactly line up to be going to Detroit, let's be honest. Free agent wise, if a quarterback does come up. And secondly, he seems like he wants to be there, so that's good. Yeah. My problem is with guys like him and Joe Flacco, they don't make other guys better. So to me, if I'm spending over $100 million on anybody, my number one rule is: do you make others better? So do you make average players good, good players great, great players all-time greats? That's basically, and obviously only a handful of quarterbacks do that, which is why there's only a handful of quarterbacks who should be getting paid over $100 million. But it is what the market is nowadays. They didn't really have much of a choice, so I'm not going to be, what are they going to do? But just like you've seen with the Saints, because Drew Brees has taken no discounts there, well, he's paid for it because their roster is kind of bare. And even though he does make some of his receivers better, he still hasn't been able to overcome that. So the Lions better draft well, hit on like those 30-year-old veterans that you signed to plug holes and hope they still have a year or two left. It's going to be a lot of that. If they hit on those, it'll work out. If not, you're going to be the Saints. The Ravens the last few years have had to let people go because you know how much Joe Flacco is making this year? $24 million. I think he's the highest paid quarterback this year, maybe. First or second. So, I didn't give him crap because they didn't really have much of a choice. But is it actually a good deal? No, it's not. But what you gonna do? The other hot topic is why Colin Kaepernick's one of the 64 best quarterbacks. Well, no shit. Everyone knows he's one of the 64 best quarterbacks. That's not what it's about. Here's the deal, folks. He is not a backup quarterback. He's just not. Like Jay Cutler is not a backup quarterback. You would never sign him to be a backup quarterback. A backup quarterback does all the work and no play, basically. They're the starter's bitch, and they do all the preparation work. They do, they're one of the hardest workers on the team, man. To not play, majority of the time. You hope you never play, basically. Colin Kaepernick's not that type of guy. He is more of a gamer. He is, I'll put in some preparation during the week, but I am... on Sunday, I'll give you all I got. He is not Mr. Attention to Detail. He's not backup quarterback material. So then now that limits you to the starting jobs you can have. You'd be like, oh, well, the Dolphins could have signed him. Maybe he's better than Jay Cutler. Okay, let's say he is. We're not going to change our whole offense. We can't change our whole offense in 2 weeks to fit Colin Kaepernick. Because you have to change your offense to fit what he does well. That's why we signed Jay Cutler. Is because at least the offense fits him. Now, whether he plays well or not, who knows? But the offense actually fits Jay Cutler. We don't have to change it, on a dime like that. So now, if we'd known Ryan Tannehill wasn't going to play 5 months ago, we could have signed Colin Kaepernick and tweaked the offense to fit him. All right. Now, like a team like the Jets don't want to be 7-9. Okay. That's why they've dumped all their high level. They are rebuilding, and they're giving every opportunity to see if Christian Hackenberg, just to see what he's got. But they don't want to sign Colin Kaepernick and be a big pile of average. There's no point to them to do that. So, yeah, we already know why, some teams are like, but he's not a backup. And to be a starter, a team has to be willing to redo the offense to fit him, which is not something you do on a dime. So that's why it's pretty much got to be a desperate team. The only reason why the Ravens were really looking at him is because they were afraid Joe Flacco wouldn't be ready for the season. That was the real reason why they were looking at him, because he's had back problems and shit. So, yeah, there is no doubt that Colin Kaepernick is one of the best 64 best quarterbacks. That's not the argument. And the argument's not even that he knelt down for the national. There's plenty of guys doing that. It's, you don't want your backup quarterback talked about all the time. He is not a backup quarterback material. And you have to change your offense to fit his skill set if you want to be successful. All hard to do within a couple of weeks. So that's really why he doesn't have a job. And quite honestly, he doesn't seem to be that disappointed that he doesn't have one. All I know is if I'm unemployed, and I'm sure some of you have been in this situation, you put out applications, right? You let them know, hey, I need a job, right? And sometimes you even give that business a call after a couple days putting in the application, saying, hey, I just want to see if you got it. I'm really interested. I think I'll be good for the job. You put the ear into people like, hey, this guy really wants this job, And a lot of times you'll get it over the guy who just sits there at home and like, I'm just waiting for a call. He was probably going to get the job. The guy who called and said, hey, man, I really want it. Or the guy's just sitting there like, he doesn't say nothing. Do you want to play football? So, there's the thoughts on that. What else? Oh, the Dolphin game has officially been postponed to Week 11, which is kind of what I figured. The players don't want to do that. But what's it all about, folks? What do I always tell you? Follow the money. Think about it. If they can just move that game to Week 11, they don't have to refund tickets. They don't have to beg another owner and pay another owner to use his stadium. The employees, all the logistics of it. Oh, we'll just move it to Week 11. We don't lose any revenue that you get from a home game. That's what it's all about, is the money of it. That was the simplest thing to do. That's why it was moved to Week 11, even though the players would rather have played this game somewhere else and lost a home game. So since 1990, there has been 8 times. That's when the bye week started. It was 1990, for those who didn't know. 8 teams have had to play 16 weeks in a row. 1 team has made the playoffs. Little stat for you. So that's definitely a not ideal, but the way the whole off season's gone, I'm not surprised. The season, some of the hot teams, some of the hot picks, the Bucks. I was actually really interested to see that game, to see if they're just all hype or what. I mean, because Jameis Winston has a lot of the what the hell are you doing moments. Does he cut those down? The defense one week looks like a top 5 defense. The next week they look like duty. That team's everywhere. I was curious to see how they played against us week 1. I really was. I thought that would have been I thought that was a pretty good matchup of teams talent-wise that are close. But everyone's on the Bucks jock. They are the hype team for sure. So we'll see how they do. I'm not convinced as other people. On paper, yeah, it looks pretty nice, but I still see some problems on the offensive line. Running back, I don't know. I think people are overlooking some stuff with the Bucks. But if Winston does take a next step, eliminates a lot of the what the hell moments, yeah, they'll win 10 games. The other kind of sexy team to pick is the Tennessee Titans. I get it. Good offensive line. Good running game. With Andrew Luck out, probably the best quarterback in that division, right? Not probably, is the best quarterback in that division. Cons. How good is the defense? Still going to give up big plays? Mariota. Is he going to play a full season? 3. Can they win a division game that's not the Jaguars? That's why I have a hard time picking the Titans. Denny can attest to this. They can't beat the Colts or Texans ever. So, it's hard for me to say, hey, yeah, the Titans for sure, because they can't ever seem to beat the Colts and Texans. I can't figure it out. I don't know why. Can't seem to do it. So, I have a hard time getting behind them, too. So, the two sexy teams, I would say, of the offseason, of like, ooh, watch out for these guys. I just have a hard time jumping on that bandwagon. Just, I had little reservations about both. But, tonight, Pats Chiefs, stay close for a little while. Pats pull away in the second half, I believe. I'm not really in the prediction business of who's going to win all the division game, or who's going to win the divisions, and who's going to play in the Super Bowl. I don't really do much of the prediction stuff. But, yeah, that's my prediction, is the Pats pull away gradually in the second half and, win by 2 touchdowns or something. Let's see, anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh, my other little rant. I'm glad to see the Browns started Deshaun Kaiser. It doesn't take a rocket science to realize that Mitchell Trubisky has better arm talent and throws better than Mike Glennon. He outplayed Mike Glennon. So what you're telling guys is, oh, you can outplay guys. I want you to come in training camp and work really hard. And even if you're the better player, I'm still going to sit you on the bench. No, Trubisky played better. Trubisky should be starting. And if he plays like duty and you want to take him out, more power to you. This isn't difficult, folks. Just play the best players. You'll find it works better for you in the long run. So I was glad to see the Browns start Kaiser because he was the best quarterback they had. He's not perfect. He's going to make mistakes. But he was the best quarterback they had in camp. So I was glad to see him start. So that's my little 2 cents on that situation. Now, see, like the Texans, Savage and Watson, you watch those games, it's actually pretty close. So I can see them starting Tom Savage if they want. I can at least see that because it is close. But the Trubisky-Glennon one really hasn't been close to me. So that's my rant. Just start the best players. I don't care if they're rookies. I don't care if they're 12-year vets. If he's better, play him. These teams wonder why they're bad. Let's see, anything else I wanted to really hit home about? Yeah, just even though my team ain't playing this week, still excited to watch all the football games. I just love the NFL. I'm not one of those teams that just watches my team, obviously, and that's it. So I'm pretty pumped about it. Yeah. Good luck to your fantasy teams this week. Good luck to your regular teams this week. Basically, I hope in the Bills-Jets, I think they play each other. I hope they somehow both lose. And I hope the Chiefs, the Chiefs aren't beating the Pats. I can hope all I want. But, yeah. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll keep it under 15 minutes. I needed to make notes because I know there's a couple things I was forgetting to talk about. But there's a little 2 cents, a little preview for stuff to come maybe this season. I'll probably be with you at some point next week talking about what happened week 1. That's all I got. Oh, I did get my other definitive pack. I'll just post that on Facebook. Bye-bye. Love you all.